Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking the incredibly complex balancing act that modern insurance organizations face literally every single day. I mean, think about it. One wrong move and billions of dollars in risk are suddenly colliding with untested technology. We're going to explore exactly how these massive entities maintain order amidst what could so easily become total chaos, and how they manage to turn disparate, disconnected departments into one unified, high-performing machine.
So here's the big question. How do insurers actually balance risk and innovation without completely collapsing into chaos? It's a massive structural challenge. Seriously, picture this. On one side, you've got actuaries dealing in absolute zero margin for error risk parameters. And then on the other side, IT teams are deploying rapidly emerging tech, all while compliance officers are desperately trying to untangle an ever-changing web of new regulations. Without a real master plan, juggling all these competing, high-stakes priorities at the exact same time can totally fracture an organization. It becomes this chaotic place where the right hand has absolutely no clue what the left hand is doing. And that kind of friction, it can literally grind operations to a dead halt.
Which brings us to our first section, the Insurance Balancing Act, or as I like to call it, introducing the conductor.
Okay, let's dive into this. Try to think of a massive, multinational insurance company like a giant symphony orchestra. You've got hundreds of different instruments representing all the different departments, and they're all playing incredibly complex pieces of music. To prevent total cacophony, you desperately need a conductor. Well, in the insurance world, that conductor is program management. It's the structured oversight needed to align underwriting, claims processing, and technology adoption with broad strategic objectives. Now, to be clear, this isn't just basic project tracking or checking off boxes on some spreadsheet. No, this is the absolutely vital mechanism that ensures innovation, compliance, and customer trust are perfectly coordinated across a bunch of highly diverse corporate functions. It basically makes sure the whole organization is reading from the exact same sheet music.
Moving right along to Section 2, Risk Assessment and Claims, the core engine. When we talk about managing risk assessment, we're talking about coordinating some incredibly complex moving parts. You have actuarial models, the heavy foundational math that predicts lifespans, weather events, accidents, all that stuff. And they're constantly clashing with aggressive new fraud detection tools and advanced predictive analytics. Imagine just for a second trying to implement a highly sensitive, brand new AI model to catch fraudulent claims, while at the very same time updating those core actuarial models, all without any centralized oversight. I mean, it would just be total dysfunction, right? So program management steps in to coordinate these specific, highly technical initiatives so they actually strengthen risk management as a team, rather than constantly tripping over one another.
Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between the two approaches. In a traditional setup, the danger is crystal clear: fragmented inefficiencies in claims processing. When different teams work in their own little silos, you inevitably get bottlenecks, duplicated effort, and, let's face it, profoundly frustrated customers. But when you switch over to a strategically managed program, you get something totally different: smooth, managed automation, AI-driven evaluation, and highly integrated customer support platforms. When AI and automation are directed strategically from the top down, rather than just deployed haphazardly by rogue individual teams, the entire claims process becomes remarkably efficient, highly accurate, and ultimately so much faster.
Next up, Section 3, Rules in Customer Trust, harmonizing the human and legal elements.
This harmonization requires a really delicate touch, mostly because the legal weight insurers carry is, frankly, immense. They have to strictly adhere to financial solvency standards, and if you're not familiar, that's essentially a mandatory guarantee that they actually have the hard cash on hand to pay out huge claims when disaster strikes. But that's not all. They also have to navigate ironclad consumer protection laws and this incredibly intricate, ever-shifting web of global rules that vary wildly from region to region. Program management acts as the central authority here. It guarantees that all of those global and local compliance standards are rigorously met. Think of it as the ultimate safety net, ensuring that while the company moves fast to innovate, it never ever steps out of legal bounds.
But, alongside all those rigid, impersonal regulations, this oversight makes sure the actual human customer isn't forgotten. Programs actively manage the customer experience side of things. This means orchestrating loyalty initiatives, building really seamless digital portals, and crafting personalized offerings that actually matter to the end user. Think about it. At the end of the day, an insurance company is ultimately selling a promise. Program management ensures that the intense, totally necessary drive for legal compliance doesn't accidentally turn the company into some faceless robotic bureaucracy that just crushes genuine client relationships. It balances those strict legal realities with warm, personalized digital experiences. Let's move on and see how this builds into Section 4, driving digital innovation, orchestrating the future.
When we look at digital innovation adoption right now, three massive technologies completely dominate the landscape: blockchain, AI, and cloud platforms. Now, adopting just one of these is a bit like trying to change the engines on an airplane while it's mid-flight. It's a massive undertaking that shifts the entire foundation of a company. Program management coordinates their adoption so they actually integrate smoothly across the enterprise. Without this overarching oversight, well, you'd end up creating isolated technological silos. You'd have a shiny new blockchain project over in one department and a cutting-edge AI tool over in another, and they'd completely refuse to speak to your legacy cloud databases. That doesn't create innovation, it just creates chaos.
Which brings us to our final act, Section 5, the synchronized payoff, the final crescendo. So the crucial point is this, and it's simple but profound. Program management in insurance ensures that risk, compliance, and customer service initiatives are not fragmented, but strategically aligned. This alignment is just an absolute necessity. It really is the only viable way to prevent severe organizational fragmentation when you're dealing with such incredibly high stakes, super strict regulations, and literally hundreds of moving parts.
And this strategic alignment yields tangible, real-world results that go straight to the bottom line. First, you start seeing measurable improvements in efficiency. Claims get processed way faster, overhead costs drop, and internal teams finally stop duplicating each other's work. Second, all that speed and reliability builds increased trust. Consumers trust that they'll get paid accurately and quickly, and regulatory bodies see a tight ship that diligently follows the rules. And finally, all of this culminates in a massive boost in competitiveness. This kind of strategic synchronicity directly enables insurers not just to survive the daily grind, but to truly thrive and outpace their competitors in a marketplace that is simultaneously super dynamic and highly regulated.
Which leaves us with a critical question to consider. Is your insurance strategy fragmented, or are you ready for strategic synchronicity? If you're feeling the friction of competing departments, disjointed technology, and constant compliance headaches, it might just be time to rethink who is actually conducting your orchestra. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this structured look at program management helps you view your own operational alignment in a much clearer light. Catch you next time.